Oh, my dear children, my beloved one, here I am for the 8th lesson. Hope you've noticed that. And people who didn't attend the 7th lesson, please follow up. It is going to connect so well with the 8th lesson. You'll love it. So I left you with an exercise, and that was the exercise. Let's go through it quickly. The first question reads, what are social services? Hope you are able to define it in this way. Social services are facilities provided by the government and the non-governmental organizations to make people's lives better. Question 2, identify any 3 social services in your community. One of them is education service, which I'm offering right now, the health service, the security service. I've listed a few, but there are very many, like transport service, catering service, communication service, and so on. Then lastly, why do you think the government provides services to people, or these non-governmental organizations? Why do you think they provide services to people? One of them is to make people's lives better, or to improve on people's lives, to offer jobs to people. There are other reasons, but I only needed one. Hope you've checked yourself. You found out where you went wrong. Those ones who passed, bravo to you. Those ones who failed some questions, make sure that you make corrections and you erase the wrong out of your head. So here we are. This time we are going to handle a social service, and that is none other than education service. I've started with education because you need it in your homes. Though we are at home, education doesn't stop. We continue learning. Let's see what we are going to handle in this service or under this service. At the end of this lesson, we should be able to define education. If you're all along you didn't know what education is, today you are the luckiest. You are yet to know. 2, you'll be able to mention people who provide education service. You need to know them. And 3, you'll be able to list places where education service can be got. Yeah. So if you need education, you go to that place. You get the knowledge, you get the skills you need. And lastly, you'll be able to give reasons as to why we need education, as to why you need education, as to why your parents had to go to school, even me, who is speaking right now. So, let's begin by defining education. What is education? You've been coming to school, they tell you, go please, you need education. You know, for me, when I was still in school, so we've been always talking about education, but now we need to know what education is. So education is the process of acquiring knowledge and skills. So if you are going through that process of acquiring knowledge, so that you can become knowledgeable in a different area, or you are acquiring skills in certain things, know that you are getting education. So wherever you are and you are gaining or you are attaining skills or you are getting knowledge from somewhere in something, know that you are under education, and that's what we call education. So education is the process of acquiring knowledge and skills. Hope you've got that. From today onwards, when somebody asks, what is education? Speak it out. Education is the process of acquiring knowledge and skills. We need to know the people who provide education service. Think about those people who help us to get the knowledge, who help us to get skills in different areas. Have you thought about them? They can be at home, they can be at school, they can be in different places as long as they do offer education. So, parents. So, there are certain things that are passed on to us and we get knowledge, we get the skills, and it is the parents who do that. So parents are among them. We have the elders, people above us who are older than us, they are elders. We have the teachers, as me now, you are getting knowledge from me. Another group or another category are the lecturers, we have the tutors, we have the professors. So these people are very important when it comes to the education sector. They provide education service to us. They pass on knowledge and skills to us. That's why your parents are important people, because of the knowledge and the skills that were given to them by these people. They do a great job. Can you clap for them? They are really important. We are great people. Okay, having seen the people who provide education service, we need to know the places where education service is got. Where do we find the teachers? To begin with, let's start with our parents. Where do we find the parents? Where do we find elders? What about the teachers? The tutors? The lecturers, have you ever heard about them? What about the professors? Where do we find them? Some of your parents are these people we have mentioned. Your siblings, your relatives, and neighbors. Where do they work? In case you need them to offer you that service, where can you find them? Let's see. We have places like homes. At home, we find parents, we find elders, relatives. They do pass on education to us. We get skills from them. They teach us different things. At schools, we find the teachers. I work in a school. So the teachers are found at school. We have places like the universities where we find the professors, we find the lecturers. Lastly, we have the colleges where we can find the tutors to offer to us education service. So having looked at the places, we need to know as to why we need education. Why do you want so much to get the knowledge in different areas, to get the skills? Why? Is it vital? Is it of importance? Why does your parent go ahead to join this system of online? Why? Why? If it wasn't that, he wouldn't have bothered himself. But because he knows that education is important to you and you need it, he went on to involve himself in such. So we need to know the reasons as to why we need education. One, to get knowledge. You need knowledge. You need to understand more and more so that you can better yourself when it comes to knowledge. You can become equipped in different areas. So you need to get the knowledge. Secondly, to get skills in different things, making things, doing some work. You need to get the skills, and that is through education. And lastly, to learn how to read and write. So when it comes to knowledge, this is when we can learn how to read and write. You can now learn how to read and write because of education. But before coming to school, or before somebody teaching you at home how to read, how to try to write, you never knew. You never had that knowledge. You never had that skill. But now you are better off. And that is because of education. So you can see how education is important. So wherever I am teaching, or whether somebody else is teaching, whether it is the parent, your siblings, your relatives, always pay attention to them. By doing so, you will acquire knowledge and skills. You see, you'll become a better person, and very important in future. So this one marks the end of today's lesson, but we need to have some simple work about this lesson. So I have 3 questions. The first question reads, What is education? Do you remember? Question 2, write to people who provide education at home. Try to look around and see those people who pass on education to you. And lastly, why do you go to school? Why do you come to school? There must be a reason. Why? Think about them and do the exercise. Keep waiting. I'll see you in the next lesson.